Welcome back to day 16 of learning to read Chinese. Sorry for the delay, my streaming software crashed. Today we're going to wrap up this unit on the economy and get started on the next unit, which is culture. So here's where we left off. 债 means debt or borrow, hire, rent. But this refers to debt as a noun. 券 A 券 is a deed or ticket or guarantee. I think generally this is referring to a deed like the documents that record the debt. 股 most of the words with the moon on the left side refer to body parts. Because I think when it's like this, it actually is not the moon, even though it looks the same as the character for moon. But that represents body parts. So this word originally referred to thigh. But we also use it for parts of a whole, portions of some strands of a thread, things like that. It's used here, 股票, where 票 means a ticket or a ballot or banknote. 股票 refers to stocks, like shares in a company. 股 we also use for a whiff of a scent, a puff of gas, a burst of force, or a stream of liquid. Because these are all kind of extended from the meaning of a part of a whole. So this 债券股票, 债券 is like when you put it together, would be like, how would you translate that? 股票 is stocks. 债券, I'm pretty sure there's a bonds. Right, I was just forgetting the term in English. So 债券股票, that's stocks and bonds. 博 This 博 means extensive, ample, rich, profound. It also refers to, especially when you put it together with this next word, 赌, which means to gamble or to bet. 赌博 together means gambling. And usually it's in that order. It's usually called 赌博, not 博赌. But I guess this is like poetic license. 输 means to lose or to be defeated. Things that are inferior. It's also used for pouring something into, like a liquid or a thread, something like that. Inserting something. Enter a password, transport, transmit. I think it specifically kind of has the connotation of a narrow stream of stuff that is entering through a small opening. Also means transmit, convey, contribute, and donate. But in this context, we're referring to loss. Because 赢 is the opposite. It means win or beat. It means profit or gain. So 输赢, that's losing and winning. When you gamble, in gambling there's always winners and losers. 闻 This 闻 means to hear or be told. It's used to know something, news or information. 新闻, when you talk about the news is called 新闻, like, journalism about things that are happening. So it refers to prestigious and famous. And this is also used for smell, like the verb, sniffing at is also this word. 闻 赚 is to make a profit or gain, get money. Sweet means even if or although. It's also used in 虽然, where 然 I think has a, how do you explain? Did we go over that? There's a lot of grammatical uses, this one. 然, which is but, although, thereupon, then, yes, so, like that. It's got, it's kind of vague, but it's used in a lot of things. 虽然 means even if or although. It just is in two parts instead of just one. You can use 虽 without 然 to mean the same thing, but we like to use them together. 喜 means happy or pleased, to be fond of something or someone, like it, or an occasion to celebrate. Like if somebody gives you good news, especially used for weddings. Like when people are getting married, you call this a 喜事, right? It's a joyous occasion. And then also you see the 双喜. You put two of these next to each other. You see that all over people's houses and banners and restaurants and all kinds of things. So this 文赚虽喜, it's talking about even though when you make money and you profit, it makes you really happy. But 跌 means fall or tumble, slip or trip, to drop. It's also stamping your foot when you're mad. And it's used in this word 跌宕 for bold and unconstrained. Generally, we're talking about falling. So it's also used for like 跌跌撞撞. If you're stumbling around, you're kind of like falling and bumping into things. That's also used. 赔 means to compensate for a loss or a debt. Is to indemnify. 癫 means mentally deranged, and 疯 similarly means insane and crazy. Or also unrestrained, like madly something. Any kind of verb, like running or growing or all those kinds of things. You say like crazy would be using this. 疯. So this is saying even though you're happy when you turn a profit, when you lose and have to pay the losses, you go crazy. That's the end of the chapter on the economy. And we move on to 文化. 文化 is culture. Alright. 猪. This 猪 means all or various. Most of these are referring to people's names. So we're not actually looking at the individual meanings of the words, but we will go through those as well. 猪子. 子 means a baby, infant, descendant, or small. Has an alternate reading. This is 子 with no tone on it. You just put this after nouns or even verbs or adjectives and turns them into nouns. Like 桌子 is table. 碟子 plate. You could put it after pretty much any. I think it's mostly only used for inanimate objects. And also not all of them. but it does get used for a lot of them. And also, when I say like verbs or adjectives, if you say adjectives, is like 胖子 is usually refer to a fat person, like as fatty. You would say 胖子. Or like sometimes people call their kids or stuff. Be like your stinky boy. Would call 臭小子. Or 小, that's a 臭 and 小. There's stinky and small, which are both adjectives, but you put 子 at the end, turns it into a noun. But here you say we're referring to these people. So we'll get to 百 is 100 or numerous and many. But in terms of literally, it's 100. 10 times 10. 家 is a home or dwelling place, a house or a family. Also refers to an expert or a specialist in a certain field. So here, when you say 诸子百家, we're referring to this time in history where there were, like, all over the world, a ton of super wise and super wise thinkers who revolutionized the path of philosophical thought in China and lots of other places in the world, like throughout the South Asia, India, the Middle East, and the Mediterranean, and all kinds of places. In China specifically, we have these 4 big guys. 2 of them are kind of one school, and 2 of them of another. Are Kong. This character, in other contexts, refers to small holes, opening, apertures. 孔雀 is used for peafowl or peacock. But in this context, we're talking about 孔子, who is Confucius. Confucius, the guy who came up with all those rules for a stable society involving, like, the family structure and how the inner workings should be regulated so that everything is stable and moral and operates well. 孟子 was a successor to 孔子. So in the same sort of vein of philosophy, but this, outside of this context of this one guy, refers to the eldest brother or sister or the first month of a season. 老 means old, aged, long-standing, experienced, great. We also use this for always, like, 你怎么老这样? It'd be like, why are you always like this? Or very, like 力气老大 or 老好 for things that are very good. This is kind of more colloquial. But here we're talking about Lao Tzu. Lao Tzu, the founder of Taoism, the guy who wrote the 道德经, Lao Tzu. And Lao Tzu, his successor was Zhuangzi, the successor in the tradition of Taoism. Now this character Zhuang also means solemn or serious. It refers to a village, especially a small farming village, or a manor, like the property that's given to a lord, like back when nobles were just assigned parcels of land. Also could refer to a place of business or the person who plays the banker role in a gambling game or a thoroughfare. So like the kind of large connecting road. but in this context, we are talking about a philosopher guy. 匾. This 匾 means to inscribe on a door. It also refers to underestimating or devaluing something, or flat tablet. A few kind of unrelated meanings. We've got an alternate reading 偏, which means small, but I think this is only specifically used mostly in a particular word. Or maybe not as frequently. Like 偏舟. 偏舟 is a small boat.雀. 雀 is a type of bird, a magpie. When you use it by itself, it refers to a magpie. But this character is actually used in the names of a lot of birds. So if you look at it, not in this listing, but there's all kind of birds that's like something else and then che, or che and then something else. Many different types and species of bird names. I'll use this character. It also means to seize or take a chance. But in this context here, Bian Chue is another guy's name. Now this guy Bian Chue was Ling. Ling means nimble, sharp, accurate, quick, or effective. It also refers to the spirit or the soul, or coffins and things to do with dead people. But here, Yi is doctor or medicine, like the study of medicine, the field of medicine, a doctor, treatments and cures. So Ling Yi, this guy Bian Chue was a really great doctor, like a super insightful and capable doctor who was pretty much like one of the founders of Chinese medicine. And he's the one who came up with that technique where they can feel your pulse and diagnose your ailments just by feeling it. Lu. This word lu has a fish on top because originally it was referring to a tasty fish, but we use it for stupid, rude, reckless, and rash. That's what it means now. It's also a name of places. Use it as a short name for Shandong province. It's also a surname. And in this context, once again, you guessed it, this is a guy's name. Lu Ban is another historical figure. So Ban refers to a team, class, squad, like group of people who work together. Refers to a duty or your shift at work, like the time that you're assigned to work. And it's used to count groups of people or schedule transport vehicles. So you'd say like if a flight is 航班, or you would say like if you miss the bus but the next bus is coming in 10 minutes, you would say 下班车 is the next bus. Qiao means skillful and genius, adept, fine, clever, just right. It also refers to like happy coincidences that work out just right. Jiang, and Jiang is a carpenter or any type of artisan or master builder, somebody who is a master craftsman is called Jiang. So this guy Lu Ban was a master builder. He's the one who invented that mortise and tenon system. Where they, instead of using glue or any sort of fasteners, they just cut the ends of the wood into puzzle pieces, sort of, that slot together. see like this sort of thing. And it's not only is it extremely secure and stable and strong, but also this way it stands up to things like earthquakes better, because the entire thing kind of can jiggle freely and absorb shock instead of being brittle and snapping. So these some really advanced carpentry techniques that this guy Luban invented. This is another word that's like hardly used anymore outside of names, like people's names or places' names. But originally, you see this grass on top. Originally, this referred to wild grass, or also to these big turtles whose shells were used for divination. But in this context and most contexts that you will encounter, this is a name. Luin. Luin refers to order or human relationships. And Cai Luin is a person, a historical figure. I believe Cai Luin was the person who invented paper way back in like the year 121. The early 2nd century. He invented how to make paper. B means to finish, accomplish, or conclude, fully, completely, or altogether. So like 毕业 is graduation, or you say 完毕 because 完 also means finish or complete. That's a compound word you put together to mean complete or finished or ended. But once again here, this is somebody's name. 毕生 is his name. 生 means ascend or rise in rank, promote. It's also a unit measure for dry grain. In old times, they used these units. Now, 毕生 oops, hold on. It's not coming out. 毕生 was the inventor of movable type. So if you know how printing presses work, you put all the pictures or the letters on a slab, right? And then you slather it in ink and it runs under the press and it presses it onto the paper. And every time you re-ink it, and you can press it onto the paper and you'll make multiple identical copies of the same thing, right? But movable type specifically is when you have like the little blocks for every letter that you can move around, so you don't have to do an entire new plate every time. You just arrange the letters into the format that you want, the order to make all the words in the document. So this guy, 毕生, invented movable type. And I believe that at that time, the blocks were made out of ceramic. Now, this guy, he lived in around the year 1000. So these people were pretty far ahead of the game. So I think in Europe they didn't have printing presses and paper making, and especially like movable type, until significantly later. Like you maybe heard of Johannes Gutenberg, Gutenberg introduced movable type printing presses in Europe only in 1450, so that was like almost 500 years later after Bisham. A pretty advanced technology that was being developed in China at the time. Paper making, Cailun, and movable type, Bisham. Jin. Jin refers to a mirror, which they used to be made of bronze, or a warning to reflect or scrutinize. Jin means really, truly, clearly, indeed, something that's true and real, genuine, pure, absolute, or sincere. You've all used this word. Jin. Xuan. Xuan means black, dark, deep, thick, mysterious, profound, abstruse, difficult to understand. It is also the name of the 9th month of the lunar calendar. And Zong means great, fat, or stout. Now these are more people. Jianzhen was a Buddhist monk in the Tang Dynasty, which was late 8th century, so around the year 700. Jianzhen traveled to Japan, and he brought over a lot of Chinese goods and culture products, like the ideas about architecture and the styles of clothing and calligraphy and Buddhism and philosophy, things like that. So if you look at a lot of Japanese traditional things, you can see that they're, even now and throughout their history, remained quite similar to the styles of the Chinese Tang Dynasty, because that's when this guy Jianzhen brought those things over to Japan. And Xuanzang traveled to India. He was another monk from the same time, the Tang Dynasty. A little earlier, he lived like 664 of the years. Xuanzang lived a little earlier, and he was the one who traveled to India, so that's where, to learn things about Buddhism and, some pieces of some Indian culture. So these are two Tang Dynasty monks who are involved in cultural exchange with neighboring nations. And I'll leave it off for there for the new characters, and I gotta do my practice on this account so we get all those bars green.
贼 是 听 借 须 见 见 约
Different meaning. They're in
笑
homophones.
宜 包 赏 摊 罚、劝、戒、成、
I don't remember.
扁、
Well, anyway.
直、操、
Again.
塞、辅、任、营、就、突、是、平、西、扁、
Study group 这个 playlist 里面怎么只有4个
4个不应该有5个吗？
你怎么后来很多天都没有？
我跟你说的嘛。
你都觉得不好？
我一直想，因为 because I want to upload them in order is the thing. So then because it was like day 5 or day 6 that I thought sucked, and then I haven't redone it, so I haven't put up any of the later
它不
ones.
在这个 playlist 上，但都在 video 上面是吧？
What? No, they're not in the videos either.
消、
You recorded on this machine?
Well, it's like it's not public.
于、蒙、
那
赵、
你的 video 有多少个？
西、
现在都10几天了，应该10几个。
Yeah.
都在哪里啊？
They're not up, which is really bad, I know, but I keep not being able to get them done.
分、贵、调、
这里就一共才5个
一、
video， 那我就说你这个
谋、
live 的这个
法
recording 在哪里啊
官、
They're not public on the channel.
？Not public on the channel， 但是
用
我应该可以看得见，怎么也看不见？
治、
嗯？
豫、
I don't know what to tell
正、
you. I'll fix it.
接、前、力、才、鼓、跌、虽、梦、书、赌、寿、博、票、货、冲、求、扁、却、债、零、压、一、序、 鲁款楚银酱差亏轮累税穷真公共给物停利值等负减功利值止玉公父补孝难归七千义是一孤注就朋人友邦难忘李威狼七长六侠泥陈韩后
应
下十秋至指路雨江晨 前月电 闪昼
Wasn't gonna give me those words.
至想
Ends.
明密昼雷迟换至句想若刚中零必及区万习拆
Should have known that.
离入绿耶
Dang it.
大
It's
康
gonna go through everything.
静玩社桑变酱台席
This
陈关
still not good enough.
耶调羊随归真手剑南北房桥乱歌堂带上
Misclick.
汉
It never ends.
请
Huh? Never ends?
Never ends.
关
点红的呀。
I know.
府
They don't come back though. It takes forever for them to come back.
Come back you have to like 60 minutes, 60 seconds, no mistake.
伐
So strict. What?
上侯帮黄刘丽离
又错了。
I'm telling you, it never ends.
Yeah.
Like, just as it's about to come back with the one that I made a mistake on before, I make another mistake, so it just never ends. Uh,
这刚才不是来过吗？
yeah.
岛节力争
音
相压伐为心虚凉昼会文蒙思命窝定党诗人
这是不是最后一个了？
It won't come though.
两害射黄地
哎，这有点奇怪呢。
Don't you feel like it's taking a long time?
Yeah， 这一行有点。
起伤是
好像又小了一点。
Did it?
嗯，
祖
这应该是最后一个了。
粉猪轮宋
这个
内统稳静
你这个是
故
在这个练习所有的字对
I
吧？
messed up again.
啊，是吧？
I'm never gonna
猛
finish.
九
是不是啊？
Yeah.
这好像有点不对，应该这有复习多少个字应该写
It's
出来。
never gonna end.
你停下来好像是有问题，
You think?
很
这个不应该这么久。I think there's a problem.
There might be a
你停下来
problem.
吧，停下来。
Okay, we'll stop. Bye bye. See you tomorrow.